Before I get into this video, a lot of people wonder what are sinking funds. And sinking funds are simply saving for a period of time for a specific thing. In our house, we actually don't call them sinking funds, we call them short-term savings, because when you compare them to like wealth building or retirement savings or emergency fund, short-term savings just in my eyes fits better, because when you're talking about Christmas and saving for Christmas, it's only for the year. So you're just saving for an event or an item in particular. So we call them short-term savings. So if you hear me say that throughout the video, you will understand that I am talking about what most people call sinking funds. Before I jump into our sinking funds, let's cover our emergency fund, which we keep at the same bank as our sinking funds. And basically, our emergency fund is 1 month of expenses that is super easy to access, that I can get it immediately. And then our goal is to have 11 months of expenses saved at another location that is likely to be a little more difficult to get the money out. It might take a couple of days because we can't foresee an emergency that we would have to pay for that very day that would be more than 1 month of our income. And basically the reason for keeping them separate is the other one would be at a much higher interest rate, so we would make a lot more money on it over the long haul. But like I said, we're not focused on building that up to 11 months right now, a total of a year of savings for emergency fund. So with regard to our short-term savings, we revamp them annually to make sure that they're still in line with our goals. And our old short-term savings, we saved $150 a month for medical, $100 a month for our car, $300 a month for Christmas, $100 a month for a trip to Colombia, $50 a month for school for Melina. For like the beginning of school seems to always have like this huge suck of money. So, and it ends up being like $500. So that's what we put that towards. $200 a month for summer camp, $100 a month for Melina's birthday parties. I stopped funding the work travel fund once that reached $1,000, because then I just use that money when I travel, and then when I get reimbursed, I refund that. So that one stayed at $1,000. What happened in 2020 is we actually started borrowing against our short-term savings funds for things that we weren't saving for. For example, the camp fund, we actually used it for like our monthly childcare. So every once in a while we'd have a month that was maybe tighter, and we would pull out some of the camp money to cover childcare for that month, because you know, during 2020 Melina had some wicked childcare expenses, especially in the beginning where they were, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. We took a bunch from the Christmas fund in October when we had to replace the ice maker in our house. And because we are going to be buying my parents' house, we have a say when they're replacing appliances. So my parents say what they would pay. So basically, if Mauricio and I want to upgrade an appliance or change it to a specific brand, when we replace it, then we pay the difference in what they were originally going to pay and what we have opted for. And that was the case with the ice maker. Ice makers, ours is an individual standalone built into the cabinet. It's huge and they're expensive. And it's, you know, we've had one in this house forever. And so there's a big hole in the cabinet where it was supposed to go. And so what we had done is my parents were going to replace it with a similar one. And I had suggested to them that we invest in a Scotsman. Scotsman is the ice company that makes Sonic ice. And so it's that soft, chewable ice. And I have several ice crunchers in my family. And this is, you know, won't break your teeth. It's much better for you. And plus, Scotsman only makes ice makers. So their ice makers are pretty solid. When we went to replace the ice maker last time, about 5 years ago, They hadn't come out with a home line. It was still only the professional line, but they have since come out with a home line. And it was almost double the price. But Mauricio and I decided it would probably be better in the long run because it has a warranty for 5 years, whereas all the other ice makers only have a warranty for 1 year. So we decided that they were willing to stand behind their ice maker, but it did cost us about $2,000 to do that. So that's where some of our Christmas money went. We borrowed from the Colombia trip when we decided to take a last minute vacation to the beach because we were not going to be going to Colombia, so we did borrow money from that trip to pay for our beach trip. After realizing what happened in 2020, we decided to really evaluate our sinking funds and were they meeting our needs. And I do recommend that you do this every year because life changes and maybe you won't necessarily need as much money for kids' birthday parties as the kids get older, or maybe you'll need to put in more. So now let's go over what our new sinking funds are. We will be putting $1,500 away every month, and we have 5 sinking funds. We have the vehicle sinking fund for $300 a month. And the reason we're upping that one so significantly is because our 2005 Expedition is on its last legs, and we know we're going to have to replace the transmission very, very soon. And we also know that we're probably going to have to buy a new car soon. So we're going to go ahead and fix the transmission problem. It's leaking transmission fluid. At some point, we'll probably have to go ahead and up that a lot more so we can pay cash for a vehicle. We will be saving $300 a month to our vacation fund. It's no longer called the Columbia Fund because we actually have enough with our points to buy plane tickets and everything down to Colombia. So we're really only going to have spending money down there, which isn't ridiculous. And we want to take some more vacations at some point in the future. So saving for them now will make it easier to take them maybe last minute, or if an awesome deal comes up, we can go ahead and book it. We have the Christmas sinking fund, which is staying at $300. We have Melina's birthday sinking fund, which is also staying at $100. And then we have our new category, which isn't really new. I just called it something else. And that is the We Are Dumb category. And we are saving $500 a month for that. And so what is this category? This is not technically a short-term savings by the classic definition. What this is it's an account that has $500 a month for when something like the ice maker comes up, or when we go over budget by $1,000, because we've done that. When something costs significantly more, we will have the money sitting there. And we decided this is the best way to do it. And if all is said and done, and we have this huge pile of money, we're just going to dump it in our final emergency fund when it gets really big. So, but if I know us, we'll probably use it. So that's our new sinking fund plan, and I'm super excited for it. And I'll see you in the next one.